Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is my Forbes colleague, staff writer Zach Everson. Zach, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Brittany.
You have some reporting on Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. You're saying that she could have violated House ethics rules. Can you explain?
Sure. So she recently, all of the demonstrations going on against Tesla and Elon Musk, from her position as the chair of the DOJ subcommittee in the House, wrote a letter asking the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate what is causing those protests. Representative Greene owns shares in Tesla. So, expert I spoke to said that could be problematic because members of Congress are not supposed to take official action, which may have a financial benefit for them. And that certainly can be the case given her stake in Tesla.
I want to first talk about the Tesla portion of this. Elon Musk, as we know, is the CEO of that company, and he's become more and more of a polarizing figure as of late with the DOJ cuts and the influence he seemingly has on both the Trump administration and the president himself. So can you talk to us about these Tesla protests?
Yeah, so Elon Musk took a position back in July, shortly after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, that he became a big Trump supporter, all in, spent about $250 million trying to help Trump win the election. And then, when Trump won, he put Elon Musk in charge of DOJ, which is looking for government efficiencies, places to cut. There have been major cuts, both in terms of services and in government employees. As a result, you're starting to see some protests against Tesla. Many of them are peaceful, where they're just demonstrations outside of dealerships. You're also hearing about people who are putting flyers on Teslas. There are a few incidences where there have been some violence, whether it's been vandalism, or I believe in one case there was also arson involved on a Tesla.
I want you to talk to us and go through her history, Marjorie Taylor Greene's history with Tesla stock. How much Tesla stock did she own now compared to before Elon Musk was this ardent Trump supporter and before she became chair of the House DOJ subcommittee?
So she has a really interesting history here with Tesla. Now, when she came to Congress, she had between 15,000 and 50,000 shares in the company. But by the end of 2022, if she had any holdings in that, it was less than $1,000, meaning she wouldn't need to be reported. She wouldn't need to report it. She did get divorced that year, so it seems most likely that her ex-husband got the Tesla shares in a divorce settlement. We don't know for sure. I reached out; they did not answer. So she started off owning less than $1,000 worth of Tesla in 2023, but by September 2024, when Musk increasingly was backing Trump, she started buying some shares. So she made 9 separate purchases of Tesla, totaling anywhere from $9,000 to $135,000. Now, why is it such a big range? It's because the House Clerk's Office the House doesn't require them to report it specific amounts. They get broad ranges they can report it in. Most of her purchases, or rather all of her purchases, fell in the $1,000 to $15,000 range.
And now you have her writing on X, posting, hey, DOJ, look into this, things like that. How exactly could this bend the rules according to the House Ethics Committee?
Right. Well, it's not a good look. It's not a good look that she is saying, making pro-Tesla statements, sending that letter under official capacity to DOJ and FBI. It's also not a good look that she was appointed to be the head of the DOJ subcommittee back in November. 5 of her Tesla stock purchases happened after that. So it was at a point where she knew that she would be supposed to have an oversight position over DOJ, and she's buying stock in Tesla at that point. Now, what might happen with this is anybody's guess. The Office of Congressional Ethics could look into this if they so chose. The House Committee on Ethics could look into this. Any punishment would have to be doled out by the House Committee, which is a bipartisan group. They don't have a great track record with implementing or with enforcing rules, so who knows what, if anything, will happen out of this.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because whenever you and I talk about the House Ethics Committee, we always have the caveat of no one really likes being on this because who wants to snitch on a colleague? Is there any precedence here What have they gotten a fellow Congress member in trouble before for a similar action? What does that look like?
Yeah, so there is a history of this. It wasn't stocks, but back in 2012, Representative Shelley Berkeley, a Democrat out of Nevada, the House Ethics Committee, that she had improperly used her official position for her to benefit financially when she reached out to government agencies on behalf of her husband's medical practice, trying to get them to pay up money that he believed he was owed. So they did flag her for that. So there is a precedent for that, not exactly stock trading, but 2012 is a long time ago in terms of United States politics.
I'm curious, I'm sure you reached out to her office regarding this story. Did they respond?
They did. They did. They didn't. After publication, they got back to me, and the quote from her spokesperson, Nick Dyer, was, "It's about domestic terrorist attacks, Zach. You are nothing more than a Democrat troll. Enough out of you," which was somewhat amusing.
Well, Zach, I don't want enough out of you because I still have a few more questions. So let's talk about Tesla stock. I'm curious how her shares are doing since you purchased them. Elon Musk, as we said, he's become increasingly controversial over the past couple of months, especially since he became really the face of Doge. How has Tesla been performing?
It's not doing well. It is down to, last I checked, about $233 a share. When it was over 400 at one point. We don't know exactly whether she's made money, or whether Representative Greene has made money on this. Again, because it is done in such broad ranges, between $1,000 and $15,000 for her purchases. We do know that she made 9 separate purchases, and 7 of those purchases, the stock price that day was at a price that is higher than what it currently is. So it certainly seems like she lost money, but we don't know for sure.
And what about Elon Musk? We know from Forbes' reporting that he is the richest man in the world, the richest person in the world. Is Tesla's stock price affecting his bottom line?
Yeah, it certainly is. He's only worth $325 billion right now, Brittany. So it's certainly hurting his bottom line. In fact, from the time I wrote the draft of this article to the time I gave it one last fact check, he had lost $5 billion. So yeah, he's not doing well. I haven't seen any GoFundMe's up there though to help out poor Elon.
Well, I'm sure you will keep us posted. Zach Everson, thank you for your reporting.
My pleasure, Brittany. Thanks.